this place or we'll be late.
Make a left on Astrology Avenue. Oh, I'm sorry, I meant right. It should be right here. 444 Spirit Way. Oh, turn.
It looks like Renee. Yay, we're on time.
The James and Kellee Show.
Great, let's start the show. Yay! I'm thinking we got to do an opening, so I have an idea of a new opening. I'll tell you later.
Oh, good.
For the new year.
I would love that. You want to hear something funny? When I was in Chicago, I went to 444 Michigan Avenue, and it was my favorite place. It was the Hoka shoe store. 444. I loved it.
444 angels are around.
Exactly. And they wear Hoka shoes. What can I say? They're
and
very
Dee from Chicago. There's love from Chicago.
Hi, Carrie East. Hi, Dee Dee. Hi, Stacy.
Hi, Lori.
Liz. Hi, little bitty drunk monkey 22.
Lisa C.
Hi, Renee Hounsel. Renee, thank you for posting this on Twitter, or what they call it now. What do you call it now? No, she put it on. Is it not Twitter anymore? It's called.
Now he changed his name to something.
Changed it something. But anyway.
I don't pay attention to those things.
I don't either.
I know we really should, but we don't care.
I know. Ricky Tenhoff says the nicest thing. She said, "You and James heal my soul and my heart. I love your show. I never miss it."
You.
How sweet. Thank you. Hi.
Kellee, did you show my orb picture to James? Tommy Lynn Kramer.
I did not, but I will. I have it on my Facebook page, I think. Thanks for reminding me. I will. We've been busy, but I will.
We've been really busy. I'm going to show you my desk. It's like piled high.
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't show you mine either.
And I've gone down from 300 to about 100 emails, 150. Who's a big deal for me?
That's a huge deal, James. How did you do it?
I just sat here all day and filed them and deleted them and answered them. And
it's a lot of work, isn't it?
I don't like it.
I don't either.
I had a regular file. My friend Denavia came over Saturday, and we went filing regular filing files and the whole thing. And
is she good at that?
Yeah,
that's good. You need somebody that's really good at that.
She's what's her? Something's in Virgo.
Yeah,
Jupiter in Virgo.
Okay, so she's good at that then. Good. Wow.
But me and the sun Virgo, so I said, no, it'd be better if we do it this way.
I'm just, somebody wants to do it for me. Great.
And I used to work filing. That's what my job was for 3 years in an office. I used to file all the time.
I just couldn't do it.
There's an art to it.
There's a, oh my gosh.
I worked in a basement for 8 hours a day in William Morris Agency with no windows whatsoever. It was all cold and steel. And I prepared at the contract, took out the staples and prepared them for microfiche.
Back in the day.
86.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, gee. How long did you do that? For like 3 years?
3 or 4 years. And I became the supervisor, took me to a medium. And that's when I found out I was going to do what I'm doing.
So it had a purpose.
It had a purpose. And I always thought it was going to be an agent's going to find me in the basement and give me a deal to do a sitcom, because I was a sitcom writer. And that didn't happen because I knew it was important that I'd be there. Right. I just knew it, but I didn't know what it was. And then it was before a mediumship thing. And then that's my friend Carol. She took me to this medium in Bryanhurst, and that was the rest is history, as they say.
The rest is history.
And, Kellee, just as a side note here before we get started, I was just talking to my friend Peggy Fitzsimmons, who's been on our show.
Yeah, I love
and we're talking about how things have changed spiritually with a lot of people. And she goes, I just can't take it. Everybody's doing spiritual work, this and therapy. And it's like, they haven't even done the work and they're putting a shingle out. I'm like, yeah, that's what we're dealing with.
It concerns me greatly.
There's no responsibility, no integrity. I'm like, it's so different. People don't have a sense of integrity or responsibility for other people.
Or education with it.
Or education.
Yeah, which really, that's one of my pet peeves.
Yeah, it's a crazy, crazy world. So as you saw today, I'm writing a book about the old world and the new world.
I was laughing so hard. By the way, everybody that was watching your show gave you the best tips for that book.
Greatest tips. It was like how the world used to be, everybody, like, pay phones and manners and, consistent, being conscious of other people and, TV dinners and asking for directions. And now it's a whole different world now. So I'm writing a book about that. And then what consistency is, well, I put a dog in there because I'm a dog right here, but it's the love of an animal is consistent no matter what time.
It is. That's wonderful.
And that's the whole book.
It's perfect. It is perfect.
Bonnie and Catherine and Linda. Kellee, what's going on with you? You went to Chicago this
I
weekend.
went to Chicago. My mom, before she passed away, my mother said, create new memories. Just create memories. And so I decided, listen, families have their ups, their downs, their all arounds. And then there's a thing, James, called the myth. And then there's reality. And my trip was somewhere in the middle.
Or survival. I don't know.
For survival. And then I had a nice martini or two. So all of that, then it was I could contain it. But yeah, I was in Chicago. And it was, first of all, I love Chicago. It's a great.
It's my favorite city.
And I asked for directions, and people were literally giving me directions.
They're so hot. I sound judgmental here, but it's true for me. The Midwestern people are kindest.
I would agree with that statement.
People.
I would agree with it. Hi, Judy Friedman. How you doing, honey?
Hi, Judy. Thanks for the healing, Judy. Martini, cheers.
We've shared martinis with Judy.
Thanks, Tracy, for flying home to see the show. And there's a little bit drunk monkey who I love because she said something really good today.
What did she say?
People are on serious brain fog. I'm not sure why.
Yeah.
My friend of mine said maybe it's COVID left over. And not only having that, but also the time period of being in your house and shut off.
Well, interesting thing that you said that, James, because there was a doctor, Dr. Amen, said today that if you had COVID or been exposed to COVID, your anxiety level is up. When your anxiety level is up, you have more inflammation in your body, which creates brain fog. So yes, I would agree with that statement. And and these illnesses are still going around too. But brain fog from Jabberwocky.
How are you feeling, Kellee? Are you feeling any better?
I feel so much better. How about you?
I feel better, but there's still like a cough thing. But my friend was visiting me, and she just was coughing the entire time. So I can't get away from it. So
Right. I was really glad. We spent a lot of time outdoors in Chicago, even though it was, it was cold. But, we had coats and we walked up and down Michigan Avenue. And I wasn't worried about getting anything. I was very conscious of where I was.
Yeah. Great.
So anyway.
Definitely COVID plays a role. I've had brain fog, and it's true. And memory loss. That's interesting, Cindy. Yeah, I understand that. My memories are a little weird too. It's really strange.
Well, that did a number on us.
It did a number on us. Let's think about today. It's like, I still have some remnants of that. It's like, this really did a real number. And it was definitely engineered in a lab because this is not natural.
This was not natural. No. The way it took us both down, no, it was not natural.
No.
No. Well, I'm hoping that some of the brain fog will start to dissipate when I talk about what's going to happen, now, and then we'll talk about January. But one good thing, James, that is happening astrologically is that in 2 days, Neptune, the dreamy planet that kind of puts us all, like just kind of unconscious bit.
And it rules Pisces, right, Kellee?
It rules, and it's in Pisces. It rules Pisces, and it is in Vedic astrology. It is in Pisces, and it's going direct in 2 days. It has been retrograde for months, just for the record, for months. So that's a really good thing when it goes direct on December 6th.
Because that's the spaciness that everybody's feeling, right?
Yes. And so when it goes direct, it's going to boost our compassion and our spiritual connection. And it will make us a little more practical in things, So it's actually
a little more empathetic.
Oh, please God, yes. I think, and the timing couldn't be better because we really need that now,
Yeah, especially now we're going to the holidays, and as our show is surviving the holidays with family, because it's a major. I think throughout the whole year, this is the one time in the year that really, and we have all the other holidays, but I think Christmas time or Hanukkah, when it's a big family gathering, right?
This is it.
It pushes a lot of buttons that we come back to work with our families. That's our number one, learning. Our teachers are our families.
Yes. Yep. And it's going to push all our buttons. It just will, even if we're saints out there. But, and then James, you and I another good thing I did want to talk about too, astrologically, we have another good thing. And that is that in regard to relationships, Venus, the planet of love and relationships and finances and business partners and things like that, it is just transited into Libra. And Libra is its own house.
Partner, the couples.
Partners. So, in some ways, even though the astrology will be challenging in December, to say the least, at least there are a couple of good things, and one of them is the Neptune direct, and the other one is Venus in the Libra, and that lasts until about Christmas Eve.
Did I tell you I met somebody over the weekend?
So you did. You called me in Chicago and you told me. So tell us. You did. Go ahead. Spill. It was a great story.
I was just walking Pearl down the beach, and Pearl's always, she opens the doors for many things.
She's good.
And she was, it was, I'm not gonna go into details, but this person was hanging out. This guy was hanging out, and it was setting up a store, and I was across the street. He was across. We just happened to look at each other at that time. It's like, and there was something going on there, a connection of some kind.
That's Venus in Libra.
And he's a surf instructor, so I'll be taking surfing lessons.
I think it's perfect. I think make memories, James.
I'll kill myself. It'll just be great.
I think you should do it.
But it was good to get out and have that experience. So,
I think it's great.
And his name was?
What was his name?
Brian.
Oh, that's right. Oh my gosh. Okay. So some people that don't know,
that was my former husband for 23 years, named Brian.
That's right. And Margaret says, spill the tea, James.
Spill the tea. Yeah.
Which is perfect.
As you get older, you don't really care. You just
no. You don't. It just comes out.
So what else is down the
So one of the things that's a big one is also on December 6th. So Neptune's going to go direct. That's fantastic. But also on December 6th, we have a thing called Sati Sati. And Sati Sati is when the Saturn and the moon are conjunct. And this year, it happened 3 times. It's conjunct in the United States chart. So what does that mean? The United States, James, could be looking at going into war. I mean, you and I have talked about it.
For sure.
And it means a karmic reckoning, and it brings a lot of pressure in. And weren't you telling me about a friend of yours that was talking about Sati Sati?
Well, yeah, I mean, he was talking to me. His astrologer, who I also know very well, and she's a pretty good astrologer, doesn't do it professionally, but she said to him, and he told me, he said, well, he talked to Alexi, and she said that now is the time. She might be watching the show. That it's karmic. It's like all those connections of people, the connections, they're all coming to a karmic beginning or end, and those experiences, they're either going to rise up to the vibration or not. And you might be in a very different vibration than they are, and they might do something that upsets you, but you can't get into that drama of it because they're releasing an old karma.
Well, that's so perfect that you're saying that, because that's really, when we're talking about our show tonight, it really is, your buttons are going to get pushed. We have families, we have people with loss and grief and just dysfunctional families. And some people have a triple whammy of that. And it's what you're saying. It really is a time for everybody. If you look at if you look how far you've come, if you have an awareness, you don't have to go down the rabbit hole with it.
It's true. And I think, Kelly, that people should look at this time with their families, if you will. That it's time to look at the family relationships and don't be pulled into it, but stop back, have that objectivity and see what you're learning from each individual, and don't judge them, and just see where they're at in that scale of what you want to engage in or help or teach or step back and let them just be. You can't change people. You just can't change them.
No, I tried. I
know. I did for years. It's like I gave it up. So you can't force people to go. You can't force people. People are going to be on their journeys. And something you taught me many years ago, they're limited. They're limited. They're on the level that they're at, and that's all they're going to see. And if they want to see differently, then they will. But guess what? A lot of people don't want to do the work. A lot of people just want to just be.
Right.
Who they are in that little playpen of theirs. And
so many of them they're just unconscious, and they see an old family pattern, and then they'll repeat it and repeat it and repeat it.
Yeah. And I keep on going every single day. It comes back to me. Even today with Pearl, I was playing in the garden with her. And it was like, someone mentioned, my roommate, Eric, talked about people that were unconscious. I said, yeah. And it keeps on coming back to me. Even the night when I was doing readings for people, this whole thing came back about people are unconscious. It's Spirit all says it's the Walking Dead. It's a walking sleepwalker. Everybody's sleepwalking. Everybody's sleepwalking. Like, 5% are awake. I mean,
yeah, it's true.
That's why that whole woke thing is hysterical to me, because it's just the opposite. They're not woke.
It's just the opposite. That is so true. But you know what? You had some good ideas. You sent an email out, and I just wanted to, talk a little bit about what you talked about
Surviving the holidays.
for surviving the holidays. And if you haven't seen this email that James sent out, you should be on his email list, because this was a really good one. I mean, you talked about, like, manage your expectations, right?
Exactly right. Manage expectations. Don't put your own expectations on others, because they are who they are, and that's all they are. So if you try this holiday to help somebody or change somebody's point of view in your family, or an argument comes up, just stop. Don't force them, because you'll get more upset. And your expectations, one of the biggest lessons I learned this lifetime was unrealistic expectations. And Kellee, you helped me with that, because
I wish I'd helped myself.
People like give, and they expect something back. It's like, no, they don't know any better. They don't give back because they don't know that. But it's really important they do the act of giving is really what it's all about.
It is. And when it's a deep family member, it can be so challenging. And in fact,
you say the relationship with family members change over the years as some people evolve.
Some people evolve and some people don't.
And some people see themselves back as a child with with the family members. Like, when you were a young child with me, that's the relationship from that point of view. And you might be the one the family that really expanded your awareness, and they might still be back in that childhood days.
Well, and then and then you go back to a family situation, and it's funny how the dynamic works. Like, I'm always this, and one of my siblings is that, and my other sibling is that, and it's a nightmare.
And how pissed off do they get when you change and they don't? They get pissed off.
Well, they get pissed. Oh, right now I'm always I'm the bad guy right now.
I'm the one with the ego, and I'm.
That's right. That's right. You and I are always at the same place with that. I forgot. Yeah.
We
have the same problem there.
We have the same.
We have the same family, actually. It's unbelievable.
And they put this whole thing on us, like, and all of us, I'm sure, experience this, that they look at us for what they want to look at and where they place us, and you're like, yeah, I don't fit into that realization of that's not who I am. That's their projection of what they want or what they think. That's not who I am. How many families don't get to know when you have a relationship or a holiday time, get together? You can look around that table and say, I cannot relate to that person, to that person, to that. It's a family obligation, but I really don't feel I belong here. Right?
Okay, that is such a good thing that you just said. I think that's hysterical. I think everybody should be doing that,
It's so true.
It's so true. God. I think it's so
I like to go around the table and say, I don't belong with you, because I don't know what world guy's in, but I'm into the spiritual awareness of, but people are the levels that they're at, and you can't change them.
Oh my God. And if we talk about dysfunctional families, Renee, would you put up that cartoon? This was a great quote by Ram Dass, and Ram Dass said, if you think you're enlightened, go spend a week with your family, which I love that one. I mean, your final test on the path to spiritual enlightenment, and then it's the family. I mean, it's so true. It's so true.
Trey, and I've cut ties of all the toxic people in my life. Good for you, Trey. That means friends, coworkers, exactly. Former coworkers, even family. Have put up my boundaries, and if they don't respect it, then sorry, you're out. Trey, exactly.
Bravo, Trey.
100%. Because my friend Jordy, who's you met, Kellee.
Oh, I love Jordy.
Spiritual friend.
Yeah.
Great person. And you should be, James, we don't talk that often, but when we talk, we pick up from where we left off. And it's true. Those are true friends. And she said, I was saying about all the friends not friends, people in my life, I let go this year. And I said, and she's a great saying. It is, bye-bye, kitty, kitty. And I said, bye-bye, kitty, kitty, many times this year.
Sure.
You're growing and they're not. I'm like, yeah. Exactly.
And the other thing is you grow weary after a while. You just don't want to do it. I cannot carry it anymore. I can't take the dysfunction any longer. I just can't. Even I have boundaries with that.
It's toxic. It's toxic, definitely.
Oh, it's so true. I just can't take it.
I like Kathy Koenig said, I went out and got adopted to a new family.
Okay, that's hysterical and probably really great for you that you did that.
Probably it's a positive thing.
I mean, families have this ability to push your buttons like nobody else's. Sure. And there's this wonderful therapist. Her name is Sherry Campbell. And she wrote a book called But It's Your Family, Cutting Ties with Toxic Family Members and Loving Yourself in the Aftermath. And I love that. Her name is Sherry, Sherrie Campbell, Campbell. So, and she wrote this great book about this. And what she talks about, which I thought was really good. I mean, her tips, if you have to be around family during this time, she said, identify the patterns in a family. Okay.
Oh, that's a great one. Sit there and
Is that
identify the patterns. Even take your napkin and start writing on it.
right? I mean, you can just do that. I thought that was so great. I mean, we all know this one will do this one will do this. And I just think I love that one. She
It's
said
great.
self-care. So prioritize your mental health care first. And that's so accurate with these guys. You really have to. And set boundaries. I mean, James and I have talked about boundaries and, where you don't engage. And instead of even getting defensive, you might say something like, oh, how about that golden bachelor? Do you believe he chose her? You can change, you can set all kinds of things up. But the other thing, she says this, and I couldn't agree more. And Renee and I were just talking about this before the show, James. Plan and escape. Don't you think that's a good one?
Do I smell something cooking on the stove? I gotta go.
Exactly. Well,
I gotta use the restroom.
I have to use the restroom. And how about this one? This is a really good. Let's say you're going to be around family. I think love this tip. She said, have a job while you're there, so you're not just going to be bombarded. Like, oh, my job is to set the table. My job is to get water for everybody. My job is to, go outside and do whatever. Play with the dog. Whatever it is.
Kellee, it's really funny. I don't know if you're gonna remember this. You might. We were at my 60th birthday party, but
of course I was.
Naturally do this, and it's always been a thing. And Brian used to get me for it, but I used to enjoy people at my house and the party and everything. But I'd always find myself going away from them. So I'd engage, and then I'd walk away, and I felt like my own time. And there were like 200 people in my house, and I'm like,
oh, I remember that.
Remember that?
I think you came to me and said, we got to go hide. Let's go over here.
I think I did.
I'm quite sure.
Yeah.
That was really fun. Well, I mean, you know why, James? You really, ultimately, you're more of an introvert.
I'm very shy. I really am.
People that are introverts during this holiday season, it's really hard for an introvert, actually. And an introvert really does have to have a plan ahead of time before they go. So imagine you're an introvert or you're an HSP or you're an empath and you have dysfunctional family. That's a hard one. And that is a lot of us, It's just a lot of us.
Christmas people have Christmas nothing.
Nothing.
I invite a couple of dinners and it's okay, but it's like, you just I just step back and listen because people are going to be themselves. And
you don't, that's another thing. It's okay. Everybody needs to know it's okay if they don't go.
It's really okay.
Right.
Give permission not to go.
Exactly, because that's a really big deal. I mean, again, set realistic expectations too.
It's true.
Another tip, which I thought this was a good one, deflect and diffuse, because you cannot control toxic relatives or you can't. So again, really think of already what you're going to say. If you already know your aunt says this or your mother says this or your dad says this, already think. But James, probably my favorite one is this tip. Remain an adult.
That's great.
Is that a good one? Remain an adult. And what I mean by that also is this. Do not over consume alcohol. Do not. I know. But you know what I mean? If you're in this situation, because once in my family dynamic.
It's an escape, isn't it?
It's an escape. And then, but what can happen is things will really fly out of you.
Yeah.
You have to be really careful because you have to really strategize this. Like I cannot tell you how many parties, James, and I'm more introverted too, like you. I mean, did I literally plan an escape route? Like certain people would have their holiday parties. I'd be like, okay.
Did you plan on the weekend, Kellee?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He's great. She goes, the house is on fire. Everybody get out of my house.
Okay, that's a really funny one, and I'll have to remember that when the house is on fire.
Little bitty drunk monkey says, "I need to apply for medical marijuana."
Okay, and sometimes that is very true. Actually, I mean, you never know, but know yourself really well. Know yourself.
And honor yourself. I mean,
honor yourself. Honor yourself.
I tell my members, I said, "Listen, you can't speak to me that way," and they're like,
"Oh yeah."
Like, oh no. You can speak to me that way. And remember that not only your family members or friends and some people that you're with in your life, people are there to support you you in many ways. And if they don't support you and they take away from you, get rid of them. You don't need it. There are many people that I call this aging myself. You can jive with. There you go. How old is that? Together with old world. And really let that, and those are the people that you want to be with, not the people that pull you down. And
Okay, wait, this is perfect. Wait, this is perfect. Gary Lavaccia, he says the funniest thing I have ever heard. He goes, holiday parties with family members should be conducted via Zoom.
And I thought that said zoo. At the zoo.
At the Zoom. Okay, that's really, really funny.
Big TV screen in the living room or something, and it's like,
Right.
oh, behaving.
Oh my gosh. So, but we also need to talk about families who there's great loss, James.
Great.
Now, so we've got the family dynamics of great loss. Now, I'll say this: when my mother died, and my mother was Mrs. Christmas, and my mom was everything Christmas. I mean, hence I'm wearing red right now. She was Christmas queen. And when she died, the first without her, I was out of my body. I don't even remember being in my body. It was just too painful to be in.
It's
You
my
know?
sister
And I'm thinking of Lynn.
passed away in April. Christmas was her biggest holiday. When they cleaned out her, my niece cleaned out her house. She had 4 rooms filled. We didn't realize she was a hoarder. 4 rooms filled with Christmas items, tablecloths and wreaths and lights and Santas and snow. 4 rooms. 4 rooms. So this is gonna be really hard for them, the family, for them.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be there supportive and just talk to them. I think sometimes you can speak to people and ask somebody how they're doing. People sometimes like to hear that they have support on the scene there.
You definitely have to do that. I mean, and David Kessler, who we've got to have on our show. I mean, if
Did
you
you
guys
see him in Chicago?
did, I what?
Did you see him in Chicago? Did you see him?
No, was he in Chicago when I was
He was
here?
in Chicago.
I didn't know. I thought he lived in LA.
No, David lives in Chicago.
David Kessler?
I'm not David Kessler. I'm sorry, David Giano.
Oh, David Vigiano. No, but I heard he sent me a message.
Okay.
Yeah.
David
but I didn't
Kessler
get
is a wonderful grief therapist that I've known for years.
Yes.
Written many books, and he's like Kellee, as you would say, the number one
Grief
grief
specialist.
specialist. Yeah, I
And
agree with that.
grief.com, and he gave some really good tips. So if you are, ready right now and you have had loss or you're in the holidays, because I work with so many of you that have had loss. I mean, some of the things he says, which I loved, he said, if you're about to have a holiday dinner, he said, say a prayer or light a candle. But this one I thought was sweet, James. He says, create an online tribute for them.
Oh, I love that.
Wasn't it? And then share maybe a funny story or a love story, or but find somebody that you can talk to about your loved one, because I think that's going to be really important. But he also says this. He says if you get invited to go out, to a special holiday dinner, okay, and you've already had loss, he said have 2 plans, Plan A and Plan B, which I love this. He says plan A is you go to that holiday dinner with family and friends, and if it doesn't feel right, you have Plan B. Or you don't go, and Plan B is the following. You stay home, maybe you watch a movie that you both liked, or you maybe go to visit the cemetery, or maybe you even cancel the holiday. He says it's okay to cancel a holiday if it's too much for you.
I agree.
Don't you agree with that?
Totally agree with David.
I mean, there's a whole other system that says, that, you should just go on with it. I don't believe that.
Yeah, I don't either. And people grieve differently. Everyone grieves differently.
Everybody grieves differently.
The relationship is very different from parent to sister to partner.
Totally.
From animal. It's all different. I suggest, I wrote the book of Healing Grief about it. But,
Yes.
And I also mentioned, I think it's always good to, a couple of things I was talking about. Maybe set up a time, a schedule to sit down and talk to them. Sit down and talk to them.
Oh, I love it.
For the holiday. And you can set up a time, write them a Christmas card or a holiday card.
I love that.
They hear your thoughts. They hear that. Also, I have mentioned this before. Set a place at the table for them if you're having a family gathering. Set a place. Put it when you're putting decorations out for the holidays. Put a photo of them and decorate it.
I love that. And decorate the photo.
Decorate it.
Oh, I love that.
Think of how much I love you and what you've done for me in this life. And I hope I did this. Communicate with them as you're decorating. That's really incredible.
That's a great idea.
My family. I got some poinsettias, and each one I put down, I thought of a family member, and I said thank you. And it really works well.
Oh, that's so lovely. You know what I did when we were in Chicago? We went to this great restaurant, and they had oddest thing of all on the menu. They had pigs in a blanket. This was a very upscale restaurant, but my mother's favorite thing in the world was pigs in a blanket.
So
So
that's no accident there, Kelly. No accident.
no accident there. And
And that
but
goes for if people had a favorite, loved one had a favorite recipe, make it for the
oh,
holidays.
that's a great one. Make a favorite recipe.
Because
Oh,
they get all of our nuances, our subtleties. They pick those up so quickly. That's their world. Their world isn't black and white. Boom. It's the subtleties, and that they love those. They love your thoughts. They love the prayers. They love you lighting a candle next to their photo. The thing with them also, they love the acknowledgement and the love that you send. They just don't want you to get trapped in that because they've moved on. Not that you have to move on. Of course, everyone's grief is different, but they just want they don't want you to stay in that space of, oh my God, the victim. If you're the victim grief person, that's becomes a profession. I haven't seen it that much, but I have seen it. By the way, I've seen it with children, people lose children, and also really partners. Because in some way, people give up their lives and they give it all to the children or the partners, and they forget who they are.
yeah.
And then when they're gone, they don't know who they are, and there's that extra sense of
Oh,
grieving.
absolutely. And on the other flip side of that, people who've had loss try to remember if there are children around to pay attention to the children because the children would have suffered the loss too. You know,
Exactly.
and so it's really important because a lot of times children are ignored with that.
It's so true, Kelly. I mean, you and I both have massive readings with people that, but you got to pick up the ones that are living too.
The ones that are living, I always, and I want everybody to be mindful of this. When somebody has lost a beloved pet, it's very deep. Please remember that because some people just like skim over that,
Yeah, if I could show you,
always pisses me off on that one.
if I could show you a photo of my dog lying down underneath my
Is
feet here.
she? Oh,
Really cute. But I you know what I did for Maisie? I have a plaque in my garden, and the photos on it, and I put a decoration around the Christmas holidays.
okay,
And
I love
you
it.
can do also maybe in cemeteries they do that for the
Yeah.
union, but I do it for Pearl. Yeah, Pearl,
Wow.
Maisie.
Well, my dear friend Vicky did something really interesting that I'd never heard of. And maybe James, you've heard of this. When her beloved husband died and her mother died, she put grave blankets. She does that, grave blankets, and she's from the East Coast. Have you heard of grave blankets?
Yes, we've done it. My sister and I have done it for my mother and father. It's put blankets on. Yep,
I'd
exactly.
never heard of that before. I actually thought she meant like a real blanket.
No, it's actually green. It's like a green grass of
Yeah, it was really wild.
yeah, it's
I
pretty
thought
cool.
that
Yeah, we
was
do it every year for my mom and dad. Well,
well.
my sister does. Very Catholic.
Yeah.
I said it's really nice, and it's a nice sentiment. The spirit world gets the sentiment, but I don't feel I need to do that.
Right. Oh,
But
I
of course,
know.
I don't believe in cemeteries necessarily either anymore. So I think that's become a way of the past. I really do. I think that's going to go into the old world.
Yeah. Joe Sunderledge has a good thing. She says, sit at the kids' table for a whole new perspective. Big art link letter asking the kids questions. Now, I love that idea. I think that's a great one.
My favorite shows when I was little.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
That makes sense. And they should have a show like that now. Kids that say the darndest things, they should do that. Why don't they do a show like that?
Oh, God. I'd love to put my grandkids in that. That would be hilarious. They're so funny. They say the funniest things.
Yeah.
Little bitty drunk monkey 22 says, I was talking to my sister who passed and all the lights went on and off. Now let's talk about that, James.
Yeah. That's how they come. And it's a little monkey. You would have some energy with you, in you, and around you that she can use to make that manifestation. So my cousin was here with a friend recently, past 2 weeks, and her husband had passed. The friend's husband had passed over, who I knew, died of COVID, and it was late 60, 68. And I love this guy, very down to earth, real guy, Virgo, Capricorn rising, or something like me, and very down to earth. And he came through so well. He came to a day before they even arrived and said, James, you just take up the tree out there. It's falling down. And I was reminded when they came in, she said, well, don't you remember you visited us on the farm or wherever there was? Yeah. And she goes, when you talked to Bob, you turned around and a tree fell down. I'm like, oh. So they will use what's in your reference library.
Absolutely.
And they will, that's great when they manifest like that with lights or birds or some signs, acknowledge it and say, thank you. I appreciate that. Because they want to know they've gotten through to you.
Oh, right on. You're absolutely. Yeah. I love this. Julie Munsterman, and I forgot about this, James. She says, I absolutely love playing my departed loved one's favorite Christmas songs. So true. Silver Bells and the Chipmunks Christmas. It makes them feel so close to me.
It's true. It's so
true. I love that one. I love that.
And you might want to, talk about setting a place for them at the table. And also, you could combine too, put their photograph at a place at the table and decorate it and just talk to them. And man, it might seem weird. Who cares? It's just
Right.
and they, spirit loves to be acknowledged. And so often they feel like they become a figment of your imagination. You don't
Yeah.
hear me. You don't see me. I keep on trying to get through to you, but you don't see me or feel me or know I'm here and I'm right next to you. And they're, by the way, they're with you much more at the holiday season than not. Right, Kellee? So expect all the way around.
Absolutely. And tell us why that is, James.
Well, number one is that it's they really have strong memories of the physical, and they remember the heart moments, the moments that you will get together as just pure love. And the holidays, especially Christmas, Hanukkah holidays, it's really and a New Year's as well. It's kind of a family gathering that they shared love, shared memories, and they want to come back and be part of that. Still, they haven't become a figment of your imagination. They're right there with you. So that's really why they come closer and closer at that time.
Well, there's something so significant about the holidays too, about the creating memories. I mean, it's kind of like a global thing of, the holidays. It's such a special thing. But you actually say in your email, you should make memories all year long.
It's so true.
Which I love that statement. But I think the loved ones do remember that because of, there's some deep
they
connection.
come back with memories, and when they communicate with us, many times they come back in memories. Do you remember this when you were little? And sometimes people don't remember, but they are holding on to a memory. They're sending me a memory of the time at the lake when you go to fishing with them. The other day, it was amazing. Friday night when I did Eating of Spirit, a girl's mother came through. And I said, she's talking about the rocks, collecting rocks. And they're going, oh my God, my mother used to insist they have rocks and create a rock garden. It was very real. It was a memory. And then the spirit made it real again for that recipient. That's what they do. And
what they do.
Yeah,
I love that.
Live in the love. That's they come back in that loving times, those memories of love. That's to come back to. Yeah. I find, Kellee, it's either that or regret.
Oh, yes.
Right?
Yes. Yeah, or regret. It's one of the two. That's a true. Melissa Holloway says, I think because of family trauma, she said, I feel so much guilt to do a lot of things. And she said something that she's working through. And Melissa, I mean, I appreciate that. And guilt is a funny thing with this. I mean, work on your family, work on your trauma, honey. Work on your trauma. And the guilt, let go of the guilt. Okay, yeah. I mean, just the fact that you're conscious of it is amazing. But let go of the guilt.
Yeah, and another technique which I want to share with everybody, which the church just gave me.
Oh, good.
Okay, I have a little pad. I always have a pad here, and so they just showed me this. I'm not an artist, but I'm gonna do it anyway. And I don't know why, but they said to draw a family tree.
Okay, I love it.
Write people's names on the branches, whether living and deceased, and right next to them, draw something or give it a word to it or description. And that's really nice. And I'd like to see, like, when you write someone down who's passed over and you go back to that name, they might come to you with a quick thought about where they are now. So maybe it could be a tree of the present, like where are they now? And the living people too. I wonder what, what's the most important foremost in their mind, are the most important part of their life right now. What are they thinking about? The living people. And then as you do that, you can write one word down or a couple things. And then when you have the deceased people, just write their name and then what is their one thought that they have right now. And your whole tree will be filled. It'll be a count.
I love that. I love that. Such a great idea.
Different change of a family tree, right? Different angle.
Yes.
But it's current. It's a current time.
I think it's a fantastic idea. Truly. Marla says, James, I love your laugh. It always makes me smile. I know, doesn't it?
Don't my laugh. A lot of people said, I love your laugh. I'm all over the world. They've said that to me.
Yeah.
And I just laugh. This is Jan who says, my son 38 passed of a heart attack the other day. Wow. I sang a song to him. That's fantastic. It was a song my dad, his grandpa used to sing, and they probably came to get him. When I would finish the song, I could feel him hug me and smell me. It was so comforting. Jan, it's so true. There's no death. It's a slipping out of the skin. It's a slipping out of the skin. And, at 39 years of age, that was definitely karmic, or 38. That was a karmic, had to be an obligation there. So bless you for honoring that soulmate, that partner, to move on. When he graduated this time was at 38. We got to always remember that souls come here to learn by experiences, not age, like physicality. People like to think of how old you are and when you pass. It's experiences for the soul to have. And sometimes souls come back and they have all their experiences by 20 years of age and they leave.
Yeah.
Or just a birth experience and they die. Or 5 years. Or it doesn't matter really. I know, it's, of course, for us humans, we want a connection. But for a soul, from the perspective of a soul, it's all about experiences. So in some way, you think 38, good for you for having that to learn and stay so long, because this is not our natural world. This is a hard place.
Right.
So
It is, James. And Donna Joe says, James, my brother drowned, and I can't help wonder, is he where he is? What was he thinking? Is he lost? No, Donna Joe,
no,
he's not
not
lost.
lost. Get that out of
No.
your head.
Yeah.
Where you watch that. But that's one thing too. I want to talk about that spirits often say, stop thinking of me that way. And it's kind of a little, I'm gonna say, disrespectful, because we hold that image and many times it's a shock and it's like we stay there.
Yes.
But they've moved on and we need to move on, as far as there's no death and they've evolved. They're not in that dead space. They're not in
Well, James, it's so funny because when I'll do readings, sometimes the soul doesn't tell me how they passed.
many times I don't know.
It's not important to them.
It's not important. The death condition is not important. Sometimes it is, as far as what I've found with transition, if they haven't, they had a rough passing or whatever. And I'm saying an illness caused that. Sometimes I'll bring that up, but not much. Certainly not much.
Yeah.
And remember this: whenever they come through, there's always a reason behind the message. They don't just throw things in our minds for the hell of it. It's nothing like that. Every word, every sentence, there's a reason behind why they're saying that. And the guides on their side assist them in creating the most important thought that the recipient has to hear, that the spirit has to give out. And so nothing is done arbitrarily. There's a reason behind every word and every sentence. I just know that to be true.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Selena Sparks says, do you feel the same way with suicide?
What are your thoughts?
Well, again, we've talked about this a lot. It depends on what the circumstances are with
Correct.
this. I mean, if the person is very, very ill, if the person is mentally ill, if the person has had so much trauma, it all depends on, the circumstances. I mean, if you have a wonderful life and you just decide for no reason to do that, I think that'd be an issue.
And we put so much emphasis on suicides in society. OMG. I Talking to Heaven back in 96, and I wrote a chapter on suicide. And if I wrote that book again, it would completely change. My feelings about suicide would change. I put a whole thing about hell in there. I'm like, oh my God, that was a cat still there. No more. No more would I say that. Souls come in for experiences. Now, suicides, as Kellee said, there's all different types of suicides. And one of them might be just a possibility that when souls were planning this lifetime, the one soul said, you know what? We all have to feel what it's like to have a suicide in the family. I'm going to sacrifice myself to do that. So we all have you guys can grow and I can grow really well. Yeah. So there is some growth there. There are all different types of suicides, like Kellee said. And, sometimes the soul puts on their plate or their class curriculum more than they can handle.
Absolutely. That always gets to me when I know that a soul has brought so much on.
And so, and I'm getting a deja vu of 2 years ago, Kellee. I mean, it's such a deja vu speaking to you right now. It's like, oh, wow. And it was that certain souls, they have a destiny, and there's a connection karmically with their soul mates. And we got to understand there is no death, and it's I don't know, it's hard to say. It's a class. It's things move and shift every moment, and love is the most important thing. They're never harmed with suicide. People think, oh, they're harmed and they're not going to meet us, or they're stuck. Doesn't happen. And many times people that are in that, I don't say commit as a complete suicide, are in a space where, and I've been many suicides in my family and my friends' families. It's just a way. It's a release, and sometimes it's a good thing, and sometimes it's like, you can't cut school. You can't cut school.
I know.
You really can't.
It's a great way to say it.
Yeah. You have to have experiences, and they're hard experiences, and we get a lot from those hard experiences. But no one is. Many people that are completed suicides are met not only by families, but other people who have completed suicide will come to greet them.
Yes,
because they know the mindset that soul is in at that moment.
And if you're having this experience during the holidays, because often what happens is during the holidays, the suicide rate goes up.
That's
So
correct.
you really, right, 988 is the number to call in the event that somebody's thinking about this, 988. But the reason I mention that is because during the holidays, if you can send that soul extra, extra love and forgiveness and all of that, it really means so much to the souls, doesn't it, James?
Yeah, so much. It really, 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 really does. It's very, very important.
Oh, this is a great question. Renee Hounselt says,
I was
hi.
just looking at that.
Oh my gosh. She said, I've had many friends express their concerns of how to handle festivities with loved ones that are terminally ill or in hospice during the holidays. It's a big one. Okay. Well, let's start with this one. Lower, very little expectations, a lot of love, a lot of be present in the moment. And
And what I've done in the past when I've had my father was during the holidays,
yeah, mine too.
and I would just say, I would just talk about the holidays, talk about how they meant in their lives, how great they are.
Yes.
What you don't say how you left this earth, the great things you did, but how great you are such a good person. You did this for me. I never realized how wonderful you were. We had this experience, and bring back positive memories to them because it'll make them feel better. And it's true, and it's acknowledgement that you need, they need, and it really
Yes.
changes the energetic of space. It
And
really,
maybe this is the time for that. It's
yeah.
holidays don't have to be, oh, we're going to a festive party. This is a deep part of the world. This is a deep part of your soul. My goodness. What a
And maybe if
time.
they're able to eat something, maybe bring some, I don't know, some holiday treats, a fruit, not fruit pie, fruit
Some
cake,
eggnog.
some eggnog or something, cookies or fresh bake. Say, I baked these fresh cookies for you.
Yeah.
They
Maybe
love
even
that.
just the smell, if they could smell.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
really, even scent. Remember, scent are really important. Smell is very important. Words, they hear you, so you can speak to them in their ears. The lesson goes that the hearing, they hear you. Just it's important to not act like everything's okay, but be in a space that it's okay because they're okay. They really are.
they
That's
really are. Carol Ann Ling, MD, says, can a normal person, James, who has crossed over, become a spiritual guide or intervene with
I
spirit?
don't know any normal people. I'm sorry, but
I think she means if somebody didn't have any, spiritual anything, and they pass, can they become a spiritual guide? Yes, of course.
the answer is
Absolutely.
yes, of course. And many times, the family members or friends who pass over, you would expect it. Number one, they feel like they may have done enough for you in the lifetime, and they want to come back that way, or they feel like they want to help you in a certain area of your life, and they will help to impress you with that. Then they think, "Well, I'm good at that. I can help them with that." And sometimes it's a thank you. It's help. It's thanking you and helping you because they feel you meant so much to them in their lifetime that they want to repay that in some way.
Yeah, that's so true.
And they might be an expert in something they didn't have any idea here in the physical world that they were an expert at something, that an aspect of themselves they didn't uncover when they were in the physical. But now in the spiritual world, like my sister, now in the spiritual world, they're more aware of their certain aspects. And my sister said to me, I'm one of your guides now because I can help you go to different worlds. Like, okay.
Wow.
Yeah, but you couldn't do that here on the earth. She was limited to that.
It'll be fun to see, though, Lynn's behavior or
She's already
so.
changed. Oh
I
my
was
God.
going to say, I think it's going to be really fun for you, though, at Christmas time, since she loved Christmas. All of a sudden, you will start seeing things and
Yeah.
getting messages from her,
Yep. And
which is fun.
I just got one from I got it right now. She said about the reindeer collection. Okay, reindeer.
Reindeer. Oh, did she collect reindeer?
She just said I put that in the window. I used to put it in the window at Christmas time. So tell my daughter. I said, okay.
Don't you love when they do that?
It's so easy. It's so easy if you don't try. I mean, if you have belief and a trust with spirit, it's just a space above us, and they impress. And
Yeah.
just be open and surrender to it. Don't try to control it because it'll never happen.
I love this. Cheryl Gray says, James, hello, friend. I feel that when loved ones linger on in hospice, etc., it's the soul's way of allowing their loved ones closure and the opportunity to say goodbye and how much they were loved. It's a gift to us, so treasure it during the holidays. Right on, Cheryl.
Yeah, very true. Very, very true. I agree. And Kim Ann Sadras, James, does your sister still hate birds? Good one. I haven't talked to her about that, but I'm sure she has a different awareness about birds. But yeah,
Did she not like birds? I forgot.
she hated birds. She hated birds, and
Could you hate birds? Maybe from the bird movie?
I think from a past life is really what I think it
Oh.
was from. From a little child, she was always like that. And I brought her once to Disneyland, and we went to the Tiki Room, and She said, "Are you promising me there's no real birds? Not like birds, Lynn. No, it's all automatronic, robotic birds." That,
Right.
and so he goes, "Are you sure?" And she said, "Like, are you sure? Are you sure? Because I know what real birds." I said, "Lynn, it's not." We got there at 7 o'clock in the morning when they first opened because we went the day before and we couldn't even get in Disney. So went the next day, and with the first ones in the tiki room, and myself and her girlfriend and a couple other people there, and we're sitting there, and the toucan comes down from the ceiling, just welcome everybody.
Right.
And as that comes down, real birds are flying out of the place. And my sister went, "Ah!" And she ran to the exit. And they were just, "You come out now, real birds." God,
Okay, that's hysterical. Oh my God.
sorry, Lynn.
Sorry, Lynn.
I just heard her say, "You crack me up." Thank you.
Oh my God. Yeah, Adeline Mersch said my grandmother was terrified of birds too.
That's the thing. And some people are afraid of butterflies. You ever heard that one?
Well, wait a minute. I had a client that was afraid of them, and it turned out because there was a whole trauma behind something where she saw a butterfly and the trauma hit at the same time. And she was associated with it. Yeah. I actually had also another client that had a huge terror of cats.
Did you, Kelly?
Cats. Like if she saw a cat crossing the street, she would actually go into a panic attack.
Really? So
how do you live in a world where you can't see a cat?
Oh, there are people that are afraid of cats and dogs, and yeah.
And dogs, I've seen it.
Cats.
I don't know. Gail Jean says, "I hate hippos. Past life." I love them.
Well,
I love them.
we all have those things. I don't hate horses, but I'm living in a place. There are all horses here, and they're all like
That's true.
right down the street. There are some stalls for horses, and I respect them. But I know several lifetimes I was trampled, no doubt about it.
By a horse, you think?
Oh, by horses. Whether it's war in Roman times or other, they have been trampled in several lifetimes with horses. That and drowning. So
yeah, I have the drowning one too.
Common ways of dying, and being hung. Hung.
Yeah.
It hurt.
Yeah, I have that too.
I had another one thrown off a mountain. Had that one sacrificed. I've had that, and I've also another one I've had was being. This was a not great one, but it was a real one. Being not stoned to death, but lying there, and they put stones on you, and this is how they. And I'm like, oh my God.
Okay.
This is during the Middle Ages. I know this was during the Middle Ages, and you've heard they put stones on you to crush.
Yes.
Crush. Yeah, I had that experience.
So no stone massage for you then.
Well, I think I've healed that. I put it in perspective because I could get a stone massage.
So,
and I collect rocks. So
this lifetime should be positively easy.
Yeah, and I collect rocks and I make pathways with rocks.
That's true. You do. Oh my God. That's waterboarded when I was a witch, Chris Hart says. Yeah, possibly.
Yeah, I do not like my head underwater. Yep, it's true,
Oh, and Cindy Sue says, I'm deathly afraid of grasshoppers. Oh, I love grasshoppers.
Well, maybe that goes back to the locust.
Yeah.
The locust attack.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Could go back to any of those.
China or South America, or when I think that's where that directly comes from.
Yeah. Wow.
Carolyn says cats are protectors versus dark portals, and dogs can sense departed souls. Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Wow.
And my girl underneath me here is so connected with me.
Is she?
And protected of the property. When someone walks down the street, she starts barking. They have to pass her test. And she is a ferocious bark,
Oh, I've got two here that are very ferocious. Yeah, which I love, but it's a lot.
I'm gonna bring Pearl too. I just signed up today. There's a place here in California, it's like California, where you bring dogs to learn herding, and you stand in the middle of a sheep, a whole bunch of sheep, and they let her out, and she's got to get to you and herd the sheep. So
you're gonna love that. There's a lot of mud involved, and it's really fun. We have two herders. We had a herder. This is our third herder. We love them, so it's fun to watch them do that, James. It's amazing.
I'll take photos for everybody. Yeah.
Oh, that would be so great. That would be great. So what do you have coming up, James? Is your class, are they still on sale or?
I was showing my birthday, my baby girl, but she's right here. I can't push the camera now. Right now we're having regular sales going on. Nothing is pushed out, but everything's available for people. It's the end of a year sale. We're going to have a couple things coming up for the New Year's, but yeah, I always think it's really good. And this came up to this year, the end of this year recently. It's a great idea, I thought, for gifting courses to people.
Oh, it's such a great idea for that.
You can gift courses. You can give them.
When people don't know what to give somebody. Exactly.
28 Days Transformation, great course. 7-day energy cleanse, great, low price.
Well, talk about the seven-day energy cleanse, because somebody wrote that they had taken it and they loved it.
It changes people's lives. It's number one, become aware of yourself as an energy being, not a physical being. So there's some exercise tuning into who you are as an energetic being, feeling energy, sensing your own. And then it goes into feeling the fields around you, the auric fields, the atmosphere around you, right? And becoming aware. It's almost like what's that, Kellee, with the beep, beep, in the submarines, they watch the
yeah.
It's like becoming aware of the field around you, and then becoming so aware that you become aware when someone else's energy in this space and whose energy it is. And it might be just a thought from someone, and you're able to detect when that energy comes into that space of yours and see whose energy is, what it emotionally feels like, and what you're going to do with it. So, and then because of that, your mind is in a space where it opens and becomes aware of energy in all different ways. So in that mindset, you meet people in the living, the bodies, when you walk to a room and you sense their energy first. And that's how it works. And it's an ongoing thing. You never shut down, you progress. So it's really an energetic exercise and cleansing out the old stuff from your childhood, from your adulthood.
And this is such a perfect time to be doing that.
Perfect time to cleanse,
really?
Letting go. I just went, like I said earlier, went through all my emails. I'm down to 100. And
You're so lucky.
And filing. At the end of the year, it's a good time to let go of the past, let go of old things.
And especially because, next week we're going to be doing a show on predictions. And I'll just say this, January 1st, Jupiter goes direct. Good. And it's been retrograde for months. And Jupiter's the largest planet. And when it moves, James, we're going to feel better. Everybody's going to feel better.
Kind of luck and fortune.
And good fortune. And yes, and spirituality.
Yeah.
And it's so large, it helps us feel better. So that's a really good thing. And so to let go of all of your stuff right now, if you could do a cleanse, it's so great for you. Oh my gosh.
Again, Janet's mentioning about animals, her animal. Animals, of course, are around the holidays as well. So set a place for them, an extra dish there for them, and talk to them. I do it.
And sometimes it's better just to be home with your cat or your dog and then go out. I mean, really.
Yeah. Well, I found that in the past 10, 15 years. I've only been here with man.
I know. That's so true.
Watch a good movie, watch YouTube. There you go.
Watch a good movie. That is so true. Oh my gosh. We watched
your family, really.
We watched Family Switch the other day on Netflix, where a family gets hit an astrologist, which cracked me up. This astrologist.
What does that mean?
It just means that somehow the planets were aligned and then the families all switch and the parents become the teenagers, and it was very funny. Ed Helms is hysterical in it. It was very funny. Wow. It was on Netflix. I enjoyed that one.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. Well, and so everybody join us next week because we're going to be doing our prediction show for the year of 2024.
And then the week after that, we'll probably do a recap of the year.
Recap of the year.
Highlights of the year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's going to be wonderful.
Yeah, the prediction show is always pretty trippy. It's pretty great.
Yes, our prediction show. Yeah, it'll be something. I mean,
I gotta say.
And some of the things that you come up with, James, well, you just start, going. It's unbelievable.
You'll tell me, it's like, you said that. Like,
you
really?
just said that. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You'll say that a lot. You said that. Like, really? I don't remember that. The one about my book was pretty trippy.
The one from 2020 was Talking to Heaven. I happened to be looking at the book, and as I opened up the page to suicide, actually, James, there was a chapter on suicide, and you said, what if, I'm paraphrasing, but you actually wrote, what if in the year 2020 and there's an illness going around, and I was stunned. And I actually took a picture of it and sent it to you and said, do you know what you wrote? And you wrote that in 1997.
Yeah, I don't remember. It just comes in and goes out.
Oh, my gosh. It
Yeah.
is. Wow.
Thank you, Kellee.
Oh, thank you, James. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next week. Have a great week, everybody.
Okay.
You've been listening to Both Sides Now and Beyond, featuring spiritual medium and master teacher James Van Praagh and spiritual medium and psychotherapist Kellee White.
That was great. Maybe we changed some lives.
And maybe opened up some minds.
Which way do I turn?
Right. I mean left.
The James and Kellee Show.